She built an empire worth more money than most small countries. But none of that power mattered the moment 50 pairs of eyes turned toward her little girl, waiting for a birthday speech she could never give. I'm telling you, in that split second, this powerhouse CEO realized she didn't know the most important language in the world, the one her own daughter spoke. It was late October, the kind of crisp afternoon where the sun hits tall windows just right, painting gold stripes across polished marble. The ballroom at the Crestline Hotel shimmered crystal glasses, lined up like soldiers, a 3-tier cake, covered in purple butterflies, so delicate they looked ready to fly. But in the corner, away from the buzz, 8-year-old Lila sat cross-legged on a velvet chair, hugging her backpack like a shield, her dark hair hiding her face as she traced the edge of a butterfly sticker. Her mom, Naomi Carter, 33, single self-made tech magnate, stood near the entrance. Perfect posture despite 12 hours of back-to-back meetings. She was supposed to be mingling, locking down a multi-million-dollar deal with their biggest investor, but her eyes kept drifting to Lila. Naomi's PR director, Kendall, was glued to her tablet, rattling off the schedule investors at 3:15 cake, at 3:30. Naomi's speech at 3:45. And then Kendall added, "We'll bring Lila up for a quick wave. Very photogenic, very family-friendly." Naomi's stomach tightened. The interpreter she'd booked for American Sign Language had texted an hour ago, "Family emergency, can't make it. No backup." And Kendall didn't know yet. Naomi could already picture her expression if she found out. The band started their sound check. The bass vibrated through the floor, rattling the butterflies on the cake. Lila flinched, pressing her hands over her ears. Naomi moved to go to her, but Kendall intercepted her, ushering her toward a cluster of investors in expensive suits. "They need you," she said, all smiles that weren't really smiles. That's when the side door opened. A man in a faded flannel shirt walked in holding a neatly wrapped box. Beside him was a boy, maybe 7, wearing a baseball cap plastered with stickers. One of them was a purple butterfly, exactly like the ones on Lila's bag. They clearly weren't on the guest list. Their clothes screamed school pickup, not black tie. A hotel server approached suspicious, but the man spoke first. "Delivery from Whimsy Wonder's special order for the birthday girl." The server hesitated, glancing toward Kendall, but before anything else could happen, the boy spotted Lila. He didn't rush her, didn't overwhelm her with noise. He just stopped a few feet away, pointed to the butterfly on his hat, then to hers. Lila looked up, really looked for the first time that day. Slowly she pointed to her own butterfly, then back to his. The boy grinned and signed something to the man. The man knelt, hands moving in deliberate fluid signs. "Hello, happy birthday." It was like watching the sun break through clouds. Lila's back straightened, her eyes lit up, and her hands flew in response. The man laughed, warm, genuine, and signed back, "Slow down, I'm still learning." The boy, quick as anything, said aloud, "She likes your butterfly. She wants to know if you've seen any real ones today." People nearby turned to watch. One woman whispered, "Oh, she's using sign language." The man stood still, focused on Lila. "She's communicating," he said calmly, "just differently than you expected." Naomi finally stepped away from Kendall. "I'm Naomi, Lila's mom." "Ethan," he replied, shaking her hand. "This is Max. My sister's deaf. Learned ASL when I was a kid, though I'm rusty. Max here. He's better than me." The kids were already side by side signing about Naomi guessed butterflies, and maybe a secret world only they could see. And then Kendall appeared again, urgent. "The investors want a mother-daughter photo. We'll bring her up on stage. Just a wave, no big deal." Naomi glanced toward the band's stage. Microphone spotlights, and a wall of eyes. She knew how sound echoed in spaces like this, knew what it did to Lila, But she'd been telling herself for years that her daughter needed to adapt to the world, not the other way around. Until this moment. "How do you sign the birthday song?" Naomi asked Ethan. He blinked. "You want to sign it? I want everyone to sign it." Her voice left no room for negotiation. Kendall nearly choked. "Naomi, that's not the plan. Forget the plan. We're doing this my way." Within minutes, Ethan and Max stood in front of a baffled crowd, teaching them the motions. Some guests fumbled, some caught on fast. The woman in pearls who'd waved in Lila's face earlier was now mouthing the words while carefully forming each sign. Even the grumpy CFO was trying. Naomi knelt in front of Lila, signing the few words Ethan had just taught her, "Happy birthday." "You." Lila's eyes went wide. Then she smiled like Naomi had given her the moon. When 50 people signed "Happy Birthday" in unison, the room felt different. No music, no applause, just the whisper of hands moving through the air like wings. Lila signed "Thank you" with so much joy she trembled. And then, crash. A drumbeat, sharp and sudden. Lila flinched hard, dropped her butterfly sticker, and bolted for the side door. Naomi turned, but Kendall grabbed her arm. "You can't leave now. The video's streaming to Hong Kong. The investors watching." Before Naomi could speak, Ethan said, "We'll go." And they were gone. Down a quiet hallway lit by green emergency lights, they found Lila curled beside a supply closet. Knees to chest, backpack hugged tight. Max sat cross-legged a few feet away, just being there. When she finally looked up, her hands moved. Too loud. Too many sounds. "I know Ethan signed back," Max added. "Dad says it's okay to find quiet places." They stayed until her breathing slowed. Lila signed, "Mom will be mad." I ran. "Your mom loves you," Ethan replied. "And you are normal. You're normal." Max held out the wrinkled butterfly sticker. Butterflies fly away, but they come back. By the time Naomi arrived barefoot in her designer dress, Lila had the sticker back on her bag next to its perfect twin. Naomi knelt, clumsy hands spelling out, "Sorry. Too loud. Should have been your party." Lila studied her, then climbed into her lap, for the first time in a year. She signed, "Wish people could hear my quiet words." Naomi signed back, "We'll teach them. Promise." They returned together. The investors shook hands, still buzzing about that authentic moment. But Naomi didn't care about optics anymore. Guests asked for ASL classes. The woman in pearls confessed her granddaughter was deaf. Max became an unofficial teacher correcting hand shapes with all the authority of a 7-year-old. And somewhere in the corner, 2 kids were already planning butterfly pancakes for tomorrow. Naomi invited them without hesitation. Ethan met her eyes and said, "We're free." Weeks later, Naomi's company launched Quiet Fridays meetings in writing or sign. Aurora's investment came through citing a brand that truly understands inclusion. Ethan became a fixture in their lives. Max and Lila built a friendship in 2 languages, one official, one their own invention. But that night driving home, Lila traced new signs on the fogged window, each one fading before the next. Today she signed, "People saw me." Naomi squeezed her hand. "Yes, baby, they did." And I wonder, how many of us have been in a room full of people and still felt invisible? How many of us could change everything if we just learned to speak or sign someone else's language? Tell me what you think. Was Naomi right to tear up the plan, or should she have played it safe for the deal? I want to hear your stories.